Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slappin Kpop podcast. I am Kayla, and I am here with Sammi.
Hello.
And today, this is our first season we're going to be covering out of the 3 seasons of Produce that have aired this year. So we are here to talk about Produce 101 Japan Season 2 today.
Yep, welcome to Produce Month Part 2.
Because we didn't have enough Produce Month, so here we are again. Because
this year was a lack of produce, guys. Like,
we didn't have enough produce.
We need a little bit more.
Because they don't stop making the seasons of this show. So.
Well, we might be done
next
with a few.
year we'll see.
We'll see what happens next year, but that has nothing to do with this season.
Yes.
We have decided to cover these seasons in the order of, I'm not going to say least to most interesting, but like least to most controversy. Let's go with that.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. We are ending on the season that essentially killed one of the series of this show. So like
we are ending with a funeral.
So we're starting with the show that probably has the least amount of interesting controversies around it, I guess.
Yeah. So Produce Japan Season 2.
Yes. I guess we want to give like a short background on like how we watched this show, just generally.
So we watched the show in a day.
We did. We watch all of these seasons in a day, essentially, is what we do.
We do.
Japan was actually the last of the 3 seasons of Produce that we ended up watching.
The most recent we've seen. We watched it like last
weekend. And we watched it on the day the music video for Rocketeer came out.
We watched it we watched it. Rocketeer had been out for like 2 hours after we finished watching.
Yes.
The show. So we watched it like as it was aired, as it was premiering.
I was about to put out their first ever music video.
We had no idea.
That was pure chance, because I was not following the debut of I at all. And I was just that was pure chance.
Yeah, we didn't know much about IN. Like,
no.
We, at least for Chwang 2021 and Youth With You 3. Yeah, Youth With You 3.
Yes.
I was getting a lot of the performances, I was getting a lot of the content, and I was getting a lot of the scandals and a lot of the issues.
Because there was a lot of that for both of those.
There was a lot of things, yes. And with Japan, when it premiered, I got, like, the pick-me, and I got the first round. But from there, I kind of went a little radio silent, where I just wasn't, because I didn't seek it out, because I wanted to watch it all at once.
Right, because we watched them, like, on a retrospective. We don't enjoy watching survival shows as they air, because that's a terrible experience, to be honest. I don't do that recommend. Anymore.
I did that last year. Everyone can go see how that went.
Yeah, and it's like, Kingdom we're fine with, because Kingdom has no stakes at all, and is like,
Kingdom does
format
not
of the show
make or break.
Yeah,
Kingdom does not make or break the lives of sweet children.
Yes. So, like, we're fine with that, but, like, any sort of, like, typical survival show format, I, like, cannot watch it while it airs. That is terrible.
I did it once, and just for an update on anybody thinking that we're ever gonna do Island 2.
Absolutely not.
If that happens, it will be Dan and Dan alone.
It will be Dan. Dan will be doing a one-man podcast on Island 2 if he chooses, but that will be what that's gonna be like, so.
Exactly. I will have nothing to do with that.
Same.
So, don't ask.
The only type of
don't request.
Because it's weird, because our survival show coverage, like, does the best on this podcast. It's one of our things that perform the best. But the only type of show that I'd be interested in, like, podcasting live is anything like Kingdom or, like, Hit the Stage, where the stakes are super low and it's more of, like, a fun side project rather than, like, you know, a career deciding anything.
No one is being extremely sad.
Yeah. And so I think I actually got a lot of stuff about Produce Japan before the actual show started. And that's because this show aired when Japan was getting hit, like, really hard with COVID. There was a lot of format differences on this season that are very apparent on the season. And one of those is that they were only allowed to start with 60 contestants on the show.
Which I'm sorry, that sucks for them.
It does. And so what happened was, I think there was a period of about, like, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe?
I think it was 3 weeks, because they had because they announced all the people, and they had, like, the individual like videos and everything for them.
And it was essentially they each got a video of like a talent and then them dancing to the Pick Me from last year's Produced Japan.
It wasn't even this year's Pick Me.
No.
They didn't even let them have the new song.
And they got like 2 or 3 videos on each of them, and essentially everyone was told to go watch these videos and vote for like the people you like the best. And then 60 of them are going to be on the show, and the other ones don't even get to make it to the actual show.
Nope. 40 of them we
don't even get to see them. Yeah. Really.
So from there it kind of goes into the format of a usual.
Yeah.
So I watched none of those videos.
I know that is so much effort to put in. There's 101 people to go in and watch individual videos for all of them is like so much effort.
Mind you, the fact that if you've watched a produce, except when you're watching, Youth With You 3, oh no, not Youth With You 3, Twang 2021, where they montaged no one.
Yep.
They montage a lot of people's auditions, so the show kind of edits out the people you don't need to care about.
Right.
When you're just presented with 100 videos of 100 different boys,
right.
I don't know.
Where do you even start with
Where
that?
do you begin?
Like, what do you
How
even
do you begin?
It's like, what do you even do with that?
Like, because it's impossible to get because not all the talents were, like, entirely idol focused either.
Right. Like, a couple of them could do, like, if they had, like, weird skills or whatever, you could do that,
Because what a lot of that reminded me of is, you remember on Korean, I think all the produces do it, where you have, like, the individual video
where they could do, like, a really stupid thing. Yeah.
But you also get them doing the pick me, you also get the audition, you also get other things that actually show that they could be good idols. Mm-hmm. And this is just, hey, I am also a personality, here's my personality, or lack thereof.
Right. Loud actually did a very similar thing in their audition process where they had to give a talent audition and a charm audition, and the charm audition could have been really whatever they, like, wanted. It was where you got a lot of their, like, weird, if they had, like, weird fun skills or something like that. So what happened is that, 40 of them didn't even make the show. In a way, I think that ended up for the better, because Japan still casts kids off the street because you're not allowed to be in a company. So we are getting a lot of people who have no experience in really anything. And so it did, I think, probably weed out most of the people who were, like, really bad and didn't have a chance anyway.
It did weed out a lot.
So the talent, I think the baseline talent we started at the beginning, like, just with the auditions, I think was higher than last season. But I think it's also, like, the quality of talent in Japan, you always have to look at it through the lens, and I'm like, you have to look at it differently than in Korean or Chinese produced, because these are really kids, like, off the street. And even the ones that have, like, dance experience, it's because they, like, were in a dance crew or something. They don't have, like, idol experience.
No, or they have the experience of, I was the backup dancer for an idol, which is where you get, like, your...
We got a lot of kids who did that.
Ren and... Who was the other one that ended up in JO1?
Shosei.
Ren's
Shosei. There's a handful of kids in here who are also backup dancers for people.
Yeah, a lot of them were backup dancers for SHINee, which is also very funny.
There's a lot of SHINee backup dancers.
And I know SHINee did a lot of work in Japan, but, like, they're all SHINee backup dancers. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. It's a lot. Right.
And so they also aired, like, an episode 0 of the show before we actually got to the initial, like, actual show. And that was essentially, they told all of the 61 or the 60 kids who made it on the show that they passed the audition and made it through. They montaged a bunch of it, obviously, but you got reactions from some of them. And then it kind of just did this random thing where it's like, they're also going to vote on the top 3 people out of, like, visual, dance, rap, vocal, whatever. And then they showed a bunch of, like, they highlighted certain people for that.
Yeah.
It's a fun episode. Like, it's, like, there's not really a lot happening in it. It's mainly just to highlight, here are our 60 people who are going to move on to the actual filming of the show, mostly.
And also, here is just, like, the people you kind of, because they did vote on, like, the top 3. Here are the people you really should be looking at.
A lot of the people who they voted into those top 3 are actually in INI too. A lot of them.
Yeah, because if you look at it, the show needs to start editing. Because even with 60 people, you don't follow 60 people on a produce. You follow maybe 30, if you're counting the people that are friends with the main people.
Yeah.
It's maybe 30.
Right. It's interesting because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 8 of the people who got voted into one of the top 3 of these categories are in I. So we are immediately made aware of who is important here.
Who is important and who unfortunately is not important. Because there's a lot of people that you just wave out.
Yep. So then it follows essentially your traditional, like, this is 100% the most pure form of produce that we have. Japan has made little to no actual edits on the produce formula.
No.
And so this specifically, it goes exactly the same way like Produce Season 2 would go, like, format-wise. It's identical except for the fact that we're starting with less people.
And really how Season 1 went.
Yeah.
And really how Season 1 of Japan went. Produce Japan
It's the only thing that's different is in Season 1 of Japan, they switched the group and the position battle, but we switched them back now. So now it's even more like
it's even more like Season 2, yeah. I don't mind it because I feel like we haven't had like that kind of produce in a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, having, from the fact that since Season 2 of Produce, you kind of haven't had that pure produce. Like,
because whatever Chuang and Youth With You are doing are just kind of like off in their own bubble because
the closest thing was probably Produce 101 China.
Yeah, it's even that was kind of weird too.
The rounds were similar.
Idol Producer, I think, was good, but once we got into Youth With You after Idol Producer, I think it's a little bit
maybe
weirder.
Idol Producer was Idol Producer had its own weird quirks.
Yeah.
And then you had, even in the Korean scenes, 48 brought in the Japanese element. Yeah. And then X1.
And X1 was just doing weird shit for the sake of doing weird gimmicks, yeah.
And also rigged. But
also, so were most of them, so.
So was almost everything.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Also, Chuang and Youth With You are, like, 3 times as long as Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in runtime.
So Japan was 10 episodes, I believe,
and
right?
they're all about 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is normal. That's how long, like, a normal produce season is that.
Wherein, Chuang and Youth With You were 22 episodes each, and the episodes were about 3 hours?
And they really varied in range anywhere from, like, 42 minutes through, like, 2.5, 3 hours. Like, it was wildly varied.
The only longer... No, because I don't even think Japan had a long finale.
No.
They had, like, an average length finale, which was, like, an hour.
It's an hour and a half,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
They had, like, and that's, like, a shorter finale than regular produce, honestly. They, like, really streamlined it.
Oh, they really did.
Which is, I appreciate that, because I don't need to sit here, like, watching, like, a 3-hour live finale. Like, I don't care to do that, so I appreciate that.
So then we had the beginning.
Yes.
So we start with the position rap.
Well, so what they do auditions whenever.
They do the auditions.
They have them. They actually have them come in whatever their ranking was based off of that online voting thing, and so they have like assigned seats already.
Which I don't love.
It's weird because I kind of the charm of that is like seeing people fight over the number 1 seat. I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
That's
because
really
we had such a good time in Season 1 watching them fucking like
just do like push-up battles and
contests,
like random
arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Just sort of try to intimidate
Show
each other
absolutely
even
destroys a man in arm wrestling. Yeah.
Because look at him.
Yep.
We had such a fun time. Remember the shock that was Show singing?
Oh, that was so funny.
That was amazing. I loved it.
There is a lot of shock factor taken away because you were given all of these videos ahead of time. So, like, you kind of know what to expect from if you were following them, you know what to expect from them already.
But not just that, but seeing them ranked, even if you didn't watch any of the videos, seeing them ranked, you don't have the shock of someone
being,
and it's like, part of the fun, being like,
terrible.
Oh, I don't think I'm that good. Yeah. I'm gonna be like at the bottom, and then coming up and killing it and being A-ranked. Or someone who's like, I'm gonna sit in the number 1 chair and sucking.
Yeah.
Just absolutely being terrible.
Right. And we do lose a lot of the fun of that audition process because of how it was formatted. I get it that I don't think this is a thing that they're going to keep in place, you know, like post-pandemic times if they do the show again.
But who knows when post-pandemic
you know, we might still be in the pandemic by the time we get to a season 3, but like who knows?
Who knows?
I don't actually know how long it'll take them to put out a season 3, so we'll see.
I'm hoping that
I don't think we'll get one next year.
I hope it'll be 2 years.
I don't think we'll get it next year for sure. I think it'll be at minimum 2 years.
Yeah, I think every 2 years is perfect for this type of show.
Yeah. I don't need one every year. That's way too much. Like, way too much for every year. Yeah.
That's a lot.
There's not a lot of things in auditions that are incredibly stand out to me.
No.
We had a lot in season 1, but a lot of them this time are just, like, most of them are fine. There's nothing I found incredibly good or incredibly bad.
Yeah, like, no one was, like, we got... Mainly because I think we got rid of the bottom 40.
I know, so like, you don't get the really, really bad.
But not just that, but I feel like you also don't get the opportunity to have the storyline of an F class going to A class because the really bad people are gone.
The F class is only like 7 or 8 people this season.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that large.
It's very small. As opposed to when A class was like 6 people.
Mm-hmm. I guess if anything, just talking about a couple of these people who are like, a little bit important, or I guess they are important for the just overall
because
season.
They end up winning.
Yeah. So the first of all, talk about Masaya Kimura. I love him. He is the pick
He's a sweet boy.
He's very sweet. He reminds me a lot of Ye-chan from Lucy. He looks very similar to him.
He looks very similar. He's very sweet. He's very cute.
So he is going to be the pick-me center. And he's also going to be the
Ren's best friend.
It was found out very early on that he is Ren's best friend. Ren from JO1. He is gonna come here for revenge.
If you know anything about Produce Month's Part 1, we love Ren.
We love Ren. Ren is absolutely robbed center, and so
he is one of our favorites. He's here for revenge. Messiah is here for revenge
because he is gonna actually be the center of the group. He was in first place most of the show, and he will end up in first place at the end of the show. So
he really pulls a coon here.
He does. He pulls
and just like rides number 1 for a while.
I will say that some of the rankings at the end of the finale are like kind of really weird, but he's weird. Essentially been first or second, he's been in like top 3 almost the whole show. So
yep. And he was a backup dancer for 17.
He was. He's very good.
So, yay!
We love him.
Which is very funny because of performances he will go on to do in this show.
Yep. There's another trainee. His name is Shogo Taijima. He is an X-Cube trainee. This kid looks like he belongs in a K-pop group. Like, it just, visuals alone. It just, like, you look like you, like, just are in a K-pop group. Because he just has a face that looks very familiar.
He does. He really, really does.
Mm-hmm.
And I
don't love him.
I don't love him either.
Because he's kind of got like a similar thing. It's similar but different to like where June was on like a Produce X and he came in like a celebrity. He's
91st place.
Yep, a 91st place June. He comes in having been in like a Cube Entertainment trainee with all this experience.
Which is interesting because that obviously is editing because they've had the same thing happen before. There's a bunch of these people who have been remember Shion
was XFNC.
He was XFNC, which again makes me now think that we now have P1 Harmony.
We're just gonna imagine P1 Harmony. P1 Harmony.
Shion from JO1 and P1 Harmony.
That's a funny thought. It's a really funny thought because I think he replaces Soul in P1 Harmony.
He replaces Soul, which again, Soul, love him,
sweet boy, but a little bit useless.
Boy, not doing much. Yeah. And also the fact that at that time Shion was not a rapper because Shion wouldn't be a rapper in P1 Harmony because P1 Harmony is enough rappers.
No, Shion literally came in to produce Japan and like one of the performances he was in, they needed someone to be a rapper and he was like, I'll just do it, and now he's JO1's rapper. Like
he is period rapper. Yeah. Like he's like they have enough other vocalists, they need a rapper, and I'm like, fair.
And this kid goes through a similar thing where he's like, he didn't really come in a rapper, but now he is indeed a rapper. And he is just the rapper of I&I. But he's got the thing where he comes in with a little bit of celebrity status, And
He
people
does.
keeps telling him that he's really good, but I don't think he's that good. Like, I really, really don't think he's that good at all at a lot of things.
Because that's the thing. I often wonder, like, what would he have been in Cube? The problem is Cube has not
hasn't put out a boy group since Pentagon, and I don't know when they
and
plan to put out a boy group.
And that was also, like, 6 years
That's
ago.
2016.
That was a while. That was, like, 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Almost 6. Like, it's a while. When the fuck are they doing that?
I mean, I get why he had to leave. He left Cube because I'm like, Cube's not doing shit with their boy groups right now. So like,
exactly.
I get it.
So he is the thing with him is that, like, I don't know. I want him to be good, but
he's cute and everything, but he is not necessarily that good at the things that he's doing. But
see,
the
that
thing
is
that
the way
bothers
I'm
me,
attempting to say being nice.
The thing that's annoying is that people keep telling him he's really good, and I'm just like,
and I think that's just like
it's not helping anything.
It isn't helping. It is not helping that no one is trying to help him get better. They're just being like,
they're just continuing to tell him that he's good. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing with that is just that there's much like JO1.
Mm-hmm.
I individually, a lot of them are a bit rough around the edges, considering that they are men off the street.
Yep.
And that's the facts of it.
That's how this show works.
Formal training.
That's how the show
That is part of the charm of this show.
Yes, where we're taking kids off the street.
And look at JO1.
Mm-hmm. They're great.
Best.
As we're
Kayla and I are buying fucking box sets.
Yes.
Honestly, what we think of I also
they're also pretty good.
They're not JO1.
They're not
levels.
I is if you took JO1 and made them like 40% more aggressive. I think is where I is right now.
That is true. They are a bit more aggressive than.
They're definitely on the more aggressive side for sure. But I think that it makes sense given the people that are in the group. So.
It works.
I blame him for a lot of it, Shogo, why they're so aggressive.
I mean, that's kind of his
That's his thing.
Do you also want to talk about our other rapper boy?
Yeah, so we have another rapper boy. His name is Nishi Hiroto. I love him.
I like him a lot.
He's probably the best rapper they have. He also won the fashion and the dance categories in the ranking of people, which was fun.
He is very fun. The other thing, and maybe we get no comments on our videos, but maybe someone can help us.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like someone.
He does.
Who the fuck does he look
I don't know.
He
looks like somebody, though, and I can't put my finger on it. Shogo, I also think looks like someone, and I can't put my finger quite on it. He looks a little bit like Win-Win, but I'm like, there's something else there, though.
It's like slightly Win-Win, but also I feel like he just looks like an idol rapper from a B-tier boy group.
The thing that also I get like big Guanlin energy from him for some reason. Because his rapping style is like very similar to Guanlin.
Would he be better as an actor then?
Yeah.
If we're comparing him to Guanlin and Win-Win, would he be better as an actor?
Maybe that's the.
Don't do it. No, J-dramas suck.
No, J-dramas are not the way for sure.
J-dramas are terrible.
But
back to our other aggressive rapper boy.
Yes,
he's the best rapper.
He is easily the best rapper they have. Yeah,
he has a way of he's aggressive. With the problem a lot with aggressive rap, especially in like K-pop and J-pop, is that it's coming out of these very sweet looking small boys and like
yes,
I ain't intimidated. Sorry. I could take any one of you in a fight. But for some reason with him, it kind of works.
He fits it a little bit better.
He fits it better. I like him.
The other really aggressive rapper they have is Rihito Ikazaki. He's not as good as him. I think he's better than, he's in between Shogo and Hiroto in terms of rapping. But he's fine as well. The other one I want to get to is Kyosuke Fujimaki, and this is our new fake Ong Sung-woo.
So, no, he's not so much fake Ong Sung-woo.
He's fake Ong Sung-woo.
Fake Ong Sung-woo.
Because he doesn't look anything like original Ong Sung-woo. But he looks a lot like fake Ong Sung-woo, who is Mamehara Issei of JO1.
Exactly. So now we are 2 levels removed from Ong Sung-woo.
Yep.
They look nothing like him.
No.
We've lost the Ong
We're at
Sung-woo.
we're at like square root or like cubed root of Ong Sung-woo at this point.
We're at Ong Sung-woo cubed.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're just gonna get a different person by season 5, and it's gonna be fake Ong Sung-woo, who is just like blonde and blue-eyed somehow.
There's another kid in this group. His name is Matsuda Jin. I also think he looks a lot like fake Ong Sung-woo too. So it's like
he looks less like fake Ong.
He looks less, yeah, but he's got like a similar face.
If we didn't have fake Ong Sung-woo, he would be fake Ong Sung-woo.
Yes.
But I think we have someone who looks
more like him than that, because Matsuda Jin also is like kind of a baby. He's got like a baby face, so
Kyosuke looks more like
he looks
Ong-sung-woo.
So much like him, like him. But he is a main vocal.
Also, I do think he might be older than fake Ong.
I think he might. I think he is. So is he original fake Ong Sung-woo then if he's older?
If he's older, we gotta get a classification system. Are we going by rules?
I don't know. It's like, is it because he's older, or like, because I guess makes him original fake Ong Sung-woo.
But like, that doesn't work.
But it doesn't work because he doesn't look, so it's,
like real Ong Sung-woo. Real Ong Sung-woo is older than the rest of these people.
Yep.
So yeah, Mamehara Issei is 2002, so he's 3
years older than him. Yeah.
Than him. So I don't know if that changes our dynamic, but it's fine. We met Mamehara Issei first, so I think we'll go with
he's original fake Ong Sung-woo.
We're going in chronological order, not in age order.
Mm-hmm. There's also just a handful of people in this season who are like foreign, which they did not have at all in Produced Japan season 1, which is interesting.
Because the thing with that is that like it's not that their company sent them. These kids
applied. They just applied.
Volition, applied.
Two of them are at least 2 of them are choreographers / backup dancers.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them. One of them, so those 2 are Yusei Tsuko and Hikaru Vasaye. Both of them are half Japanese, I'm pretty sure. Yusei is half black and Hikaru is half something else. That I don't remember.
I will keep going and I'll figure
it out. The other one, who actually ends up in I is Shu Fengfan, and he is Chinese.
Oh, so Hikaru is Japanese or Iranian.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is another new thing.
Yeah.
Yay for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's Nigerian Japanese. Teko Yusei.
Yes.
And then
they
both do pretty well because both of them are both like backup. They have like a lot of dance experience, and so they are both pretty talented. And it's really funny because actually in the episode 0, Yusei was talking about how he's like, oh, I'm gonna be so different because my name is so unique, and then he runs into the other kid, Hikaru Vasaye, and he's like, well, now I'm like screwed because his name is even weirder than mine, so like now I'm not as memorable.
Aww. And so then we have the, like, real foreigner.
Oh, also Anthony, Inuma.
Oh, Anthony.
I think he grew up in the Philippines. And he moved to Japan eventually. I don't know if he's actually Filipino or if he is just, like, from the Philippines. But, he is another one who is, like, a foreigner.
Do you want to get to our Chinese boy?
Yes. That's, Shu Fengfan. He does really well because he's, like, another one of the main vocals. And he makes it into I, which I tried to look into this before this episode to see how common it is for foreigners to debut in like J-pop groups. Mm-hmm. And I got very mixed like responses from it. And from what I saw, debuting in like typical J-pop, like what I and like JO1 are, it's like essentially non-existent for a non-Japanese person. You do get, because, Intersection, which is that group that has all of the, like, half-Japanese people that go on Chuang 2021. There's a lot of things where we're getting a lot of, like, groups debuting who are mixed or things like that. But I don't think they're really getting, like, they exist, but they're just very unpopular, unheard of. Like, they're not, like, getting, like, you know, mainstream popularity.
So it's not necessarily, so, like, a big J-pop group.
Yeah, so, like, the Exile
Japanese.
and, like, the Johnny's groups aren't doing it. Like, your mainstream, like, J-pop things, like, they seem to be typically, like, mostly only Japanese.
It's interesting that it's J-pop.
Yeah.
Where that doesn't happen. Because if you look at, K-pop obviously has been doing it for years.
For a long time.
I think entirely because they need the like, it's just so many groups, you need the people. You just need the new stream of talent. And kind of in K-pop, you get your pick of the crop because it is probably the biggest of the industries.
Right.
And then even in C-pop, like,
C-pop,
maybe
like,
not so much with
pretty international now too.
Not so much with, like, pure C-pop of groups made in China.
Right.
But in terms of, like, the Chwangs,
look at Into One is, like,
oh my god,
5 out of 11 or 6 out of 11, like, international.
Depends on how you count it. Yeah. Also, I looked up Anthony. Anthony, it's telling me here, is Japanese, but was born and raised in the Philippines. Yeah. But yeah, no. So my thing
is, the general consensus I seem to find on it was, like, they exist and they're not, like, received poorly, but they're just not nearly in the mainstream.
With super racism.
Yeah, but they're not in the mainstream J-pop really,
which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And so, because I was curious as to how just like because we only also have produced season 1 of Japan to go off of, and that was a full Japanese group, and so I'm like, how much of, like, an oddity is that we got a Chinese member in a J-pop group, and so I was curious about that.
Apparently it's actually, he's breaking barriers.
Because it seemed like, as like, I don't know a lot about, like, you know, J-pop, like, all I know is really, like, like, narrow, like, sliver of J-pop that I've followed that essentially stem out of this show entirely, so...
Yeah,
but
none of us are
wasn't aware that it was that, like, J-pop was that, like, international of, like, a music industry, so.
Yeah, none of us are particularly big J-pop people.
Yep. We've said it before, I'm only into the J-pop that sounds like K-pop. That's the only kind of J-pop I listen to.
And honestly, most K-pop groups that I follow have one foreign member. Most K-pop groups, period, have one foreign member now. So,
NCT is only 42% Korean. So, like...
That's a point right there.
Yep.
Honestly,
I'm always going to go back to that statistic that we figured out, that NCT is only 42% Korean.
42% Korean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite statistic of all time. And the fact that it might get less Korean the more people they
add. I know. It's going to get even less and less Korean as it goes on, which is funny.
But, yeah, no. It's interesting because this just sort of puts them more in line with K-pop than it is J-pop. Right. Because JO1 I still find to be more in line with your average K-pop group than your average J-pop
Easily,
group.
Yeah.
They don't sound like... Because, especially if you look at K-pop from this year, most of the newer boy groups are doing not the JO1 style of music, but that still fits K-pop.
Right.
It's like, it is a K-pop style group.
Mm-hmm.
I is doing
the recent K-pop sound, the kind of loud, aggressive, noisy kind of thing. That's what I's doing now.
I mean, they're doing it better than a lot of the new K-pop boy groups are doing.
Because I like it, and I don't like it from a lot of K-pop groups, but I do like what I is doing. But, like,
you can look at them, and they're kind of in step with even, like, your... Maybe not as much rap, but, like, with your P1 Harmony or with your MC&D, two groups that are doing that sound extremely well.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely in that same realm, I would say. Their other song, because I did have, like, the thing where it's like, here are 2 songs and vote which one you want to be the title track. Brighter is very much in the same realm of, like, the JL1 sound of music, where it's not as aggressive and it's, like, just kind of, like, it's more, like, cinematic sounding, I guess, is how I describe it. So they are still doing that, but they do have music there that is, like, more in line with the typical noise K-pop that's very popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess we should get to the actual first round, because they do the theme song practice and, like, moving between classes thing that they always do and produce. Nothing entirely interesting happens there.
Yeah. It very much it's very
boring. They just are gonna practice the theme song and, like, you know, that's the same. It's gonna go, like, exactly the same every time.
As usual.
I do want to say, I want to talk about the judges and the host again for a little second before we get into here. So, 99, sure. The comedy duo, is going to be back to host this show.
They look like they want to be there as much as they did last season.
They are equally as bad this season as they were in season 1. They kind of give me the Lay robot vibe, where it's like they can't have conversations that they're not reading off of cue cards. Like, it's got that vibe to it this year.
The thing with it is, I feel like with Lay, it was that he's not a good host, and he cannot maintain human connections.
Yes.
With them, they just look uninterested. I feel like they could have remembered these lines if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They did not want to.
They do not care at all. Like, they really give off the vibe that they don't. They're here to do a job, and they're going to do bare minimum for said job.
And they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And you know what? Make that bread.
Mm-hmm. The judges and the mentors are pretty awful. Not gonna lie, I greatly dislike a vast majority of them. There are 2 that I think are okay. There's 2 female mentors. I think both of them are fine. One of them is the Volca mentor. Her name is Thelma. She's fine. I think she gives fine advice. There's another one who's a dance mentor. She's actually the original choreographer for Shiny's Your Number, so watching her mentor the people who were doing that was actually very cute. I think she gives out more helpful advice. This stupid musical theater man is gonna be back. Oof. He is the worst one there. And then there's another one. His name is Kenzo. I think he's pretty awful. And the thing that I've noticed with the 2 of them, they throw temper tantrums a lot. It's like they'll get really frustrated with the people and then just straight up walk out of the room and like throw a temper tantrum. And I'm like, I feel like I get that you're upset. And they're not living up to your expectation, but you do not need to be this dramatic about it. Like, this is ridiculous.
Not just that, but, like, isn't the point of all of this for them to get better?
Yes.
And to teach them how to be good. These are not professionals. These are kids off the fucking street.
Literally kids off the street. Like, they're really unenjoyable to watch. Some of the judges, like, Japan definitely has some of the worst mentors, like, of this series for sure, which is unfortunate. But so the first evaluation is gonna go this like exactly the same as how most produce goes. So they're gonna do the group battle. So they're each gonna split up into teams, and then they're gonna do a bunch of songs. And then it's like 2 groups are going to do the same song, so they're going to compete against each other.
Because we are starting with an infinitely smaller cast.
Yes.
This goes by
so much faster. It's honestly pretty great that it goes by so fast.
Because we only have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs.
Yeah.
Done twice, so 10 songs. Mm-hmm. And the groups are not
because this is
12
normally 20.
Each.
This is normally 20 songs we're doing in this round. So we're only doing 10, which is great.
Or, if you want to do it the way some of the Chinese scenes do it, it's a group of like 13 boys.
Yes.
Doing one song, and you're like, why are there so many
There's too many of you here. Way too many.
Why are there so many of you fighting for the stage?
Yep.
But yeah, so they do. This is a very No, this is bad.
This is a pretty bad round. This is a pretty bad round, not gonna lie.
I wanted to give it a mixed bag round, and then I actually started reading
and then, like, no, these were where the bad ones come from.
So they did I Need You by BT. So let's start with, they did I Need You by BTS.
That is...
I do not understand why that song is so difficult to cover, because no one does it
That song needs to stop being covered, because I don't think I've seen a single good cover of that song ever.
Because that is one of the best BTS songs.
It is, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
I think... people fuck it, and that I think the real problem is it's a song that you fuck up from line 1.
Yes,
because it starts with Suga being Suga's very specific kind of aggressive,
right? But
which is not like, it is this weird balance of, it is, you can tell it's aggressive, you can tell that it is technically aggressive,
yes,
but is it you growling at me?
No.
Like, actually threatening
They go way too aggressive. And that's going to be a common theme of this season, is we're going to be too aggressive for most of the things. There's too much, we're too aggressive.
Yeah, I don't understand why this... And it's not even just an issue with this
No,
cover.
But it's every time that song gets covered, it's too aggressive.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Because a similar thing can sometimes happen with Boy in Love.
Yes,
especially with that chorus, But with that, it kind of works a little bit more.
I think if you're too aggressive on that song, it seems better. I guess it's easier. It's easier to cover. Easier to cover up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to cover up if you're aggressive with that song. With this song, it is this very specific balance of their like. It is not. I think a lot of the issue comes from everyone is trying to do it aggressively when really it's only the rappers go aggressive, the singers go soft.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting this weird mix of the wrong people. The wrong parts of this are aggressive. The wrong parts of this are soft.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't like
also,
it. Also,
the people who got that song also did not get the really good vocalist either. So that was also not a good point for them.
But,
there.
like, not even that the vocals in this song are particularly different.
No, like, but it's like...
not the...
It's like also, because we're doing Produce Japan, you also have to, like, bring back the voice cracks are gonna be back everywhere. They're gonna be here all the way through the season again because this is what we do in Produce Japan.
So the next one is our favorite.
Generations from the Exile Tribe.
If you want to get a very good idea of the rabbit hole we went down to try to understand what exactly the Exile Tribe
was, yeah.
Go back to our episode on season 1 of Produce. It is a trip.
It's very confusing, but this song is just bad to begin with, so I kind of have to like
it's not a good song.
Give it some leeway because the source material was not good.
True, you can only do so much with it.
Yeah. We're gonna cover And Love by King and Prince, which also has bad source material, but was also, I think, covered very poorly.
Oh my god, that was truly terrible. The closest thing I describe it is that it is like this season's Yamcha Boy, Yamcha Girl, but worse.
It's really bad. It's not good. It's cute, but the singing is really bad. And I don't think that's necessarily on the trainees entirely, because I do think the original song is like pretty high pitched and like kind of hard to sing.
Annoying.
Yeah. Kind of grating.
But also, they did not do that song any favors because like what I can describe it as, I will make a comparison to a song from Youth With You. It's on Youth With You.
Youth With You, yes.
Our new favorite.
Yes.
Sunshine Rainbow's White Horse.
Mm-hmm.
That song also has very grating source material.
Yes, but that cover is fantastic.
Phenomenal. Wow. There's a way that you can rearrange these songs to make them better. Mm-hmm. This show, I don't think, had the budget for it.
No. Also, should be of note that this show has no budget. The show has about as much budget as season 1 did, and it was not a lot of budget. Yeah,
these are very plain sets, and these are, unlike in a bunch of scenes where you can sort of remix these songs, these are straight covers.
Yes. There's really not a lot of remixing going on there, and it's kind of unfortunate for that song because it's not great to begin with.
It should have. Yeah, it needed a remix.
Yeah.
Then we do Your Number by SHINee,
which is it's not great. Really.
And that's another thing of like, why are you covering SHINee when you don't have the vocalist for it?
Yeah. It's this, at least this whole section of them preparing for that performance was cute because they had the original choreographer there, and she's like, you better not fuck it up. I choreographed this song.
And I'm sorry, but they kind of fucked it up.
Yeah, and then she was like, was like going through the choreography step by step, and she's like, listen, this is for the rain, your hands out, you're feeling the rain, you're not understanding it right. It was really funny.
It weirdly gave me Island flashbacks.
Yeah.
Where I was like, no, leave them alone. You choreographed the original. This is not your... Because I got Island flashbacks to when all of the big hit people were helping those sweet boys try to do BTS
and then
covers.
They were just like, this is our child. Like, you can't fuck it up.
I'm like, leave them alone. Help them. Mm-hmm. So it gave me weird Island flashbacks. I was just like, leave them alone, lady. Mm-hmm. Please. They're doing their best. Alone. Leave them alone. Yep. They're not terrible. I mean, this was bad, but I think it's just because it's hard to cover a SHINee song. It's hard.
And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to cover Infinity by JO1 because, of course, we do. It makes sense. I have a lot of problems with it because number one,
I do as well.
Neither of the two covers are good.
No.
And the unfortunate thing is that so one of these teams is the quote unquote like Avengers team because it's the center team picked his whole team.
What I will say.
Here we go.
What I will say is I am very happy that we have finally reached a point in the produce where we have stopped using the word Avengers.
No, they do. They definitely call that the Avengers team. Yeah.
Oh, then I missed it and blocked it out of my memory because they don't
like
do
it's
it on
straight
any
up
of the
like in the
Chinese
subtitles.
seasons.
Like it's. I think they actually write it out in English too. It's like Avengers. It's like over there.
We went so many years with no one being called the Avengers team.
And here
why are we bringing it back?
We brought it back.
This is not what we need to bring back from season 2. I don't want it.
It's also, we got a little bit of a Shion situation going on because the cube kid Shogo ends up on the team that's against them. And he was like, I kind of wanted to go against them because they're like the best and whatever. And they're doing the whole rivalry thing because that's
because he's kind of an idiot.
Yep. So the problem with both of these covers is they're way too aggressive for the vibe of the song. They are going way, way too aggressive for what kind of a song Infinity is. I fully blame Shogo for the reason both of these songs ended up this way, because when they were doing the initial preparing for the performance, Shogo's team was like very aggressive and like very whatever energetic, and all of the trainers went, wow, they have so much energy and they're so energetic, and we're not getting that energy from this other team at all, which is like the quote-unquote Avengers team.
I honestly don't blame Shogo for that. I blame these
I know, because they told them that was the energy. It's like, well, you have to be more energetic and be like them. And so the other team was like, well, shit, now we gotta be more aggressive. And now we got two performances that are both too aggressive.
And then you had the one team being like, oh, they like a little bit of our aggression. Let's go more aggressive.
Let's go more, yeah.
We got like aggression level 13. And I'm like, this song was not aggressive to begin with.
No, and so it's like Shogo's team is like
relax.
way over on the aggression, like way too aggressive. The other team is a little bit less, but it's still too aggressive. Like it's
just too much.
This is not the way.
The problem.
It's not the way to go.
No. So then that was round 1.
Yep, then we eliminate
a bunch of people.
20 people, I think.
Yes.
Yep. So that's gonna happen there. Then the next round is the position battle.
Oh. I think one kid also has to drop out because of COVID.
So one kid, before they come back for the position battle training, tests positive for COVID. The judges and like the mentors say, we tried to figure out a way to have him still compete in this show.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, but it was like, but it's kind of impossible. So he had to leave the show, and so they brought back the kid who was in 41st place to replace him. Yep. Which is unfortunate because that other kid I think ranked 17th in the rating, which is like
that
pretty
other
good.
Kid did actually real good.
So they do have that. Throughout the show, because we are filming this in like peak Japan COVID times, there's a lot of like plastic screens up that I don't think are doing really much of anything.
My favorite is that we still have what I like to call the hallway room.
Yes.
Which is that extremely narrow room that
looks like it's just a hallway.
That just looks like it's a hallway, but has a back wall, so it's not a hallway.
And it has a bunch of chairs, but the chairs now have plastic screens in between them.
But also, they're still in a line of, it's a fucking box of people that's, 60 people.
It's not doing anything.
It's not socially
It's not doing anything.
No one is actually being protected from jack shit.
Japan also uses those plastic, clear masks. You can still see the people's face, and I don't think those are really effective at all. As masks.
I mean, no. They also use them for some reason whenever the group is by themselves doing any kind of interview.
Yes.
And my thing is, you all live together. You're regularly tested. Why are you wearing this?
Yeah.
Just take it off.
And
You're alone.
It's like the show is doing a lot of things to be like, look, we're taking COVID precautions, and I'm like, yes, but are they really doing anything? Not really.
Look, only one kid got COVID.
Yeah,
so,
one kid got it, and he did not spread it to anyone else. So it was fine.
Everyone else was fine.
Yeah.
So you know what? Honestly, 10 out of 10 Japan. You did
Good job. Good job.
There was not a massive outbreak because of this Mnet produced show. Mnet did not cause another surge.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's the last thing Mnet needed.
Oh God. Because they were filming I think right before Olympic season too, so that would have been bad for them.
The Olympics was the Olympics ended up way worse.
Yeah.
But to go on to round 2.
Round 2, we got position
That's a position battle.
Rap,
so it's vocal dance and rap. Can we just do the 3 vocal songs right now? Because they're all ballads.
Yeah, so fun. We're gonna have a fun vocal song because finale ballad's gonna come back to haunt us as one of the
finale ballad did come back. The finale ballad from season 1, which was, I still don't understand how we found 20 different keys to sing the song.
It is really always baffling every time I go back to listen to it. It's really baffling.
I went back because I went back when we listened to this version, which it's not great.
It's not great, but it's a lot better than the finale.
Yeah, like I would mostly ignore it and probably call it bad.
Yeah.
If I did not know what
if we didn't have the comparison of the finale, which was just like horrendous.
Truly awful.
Yeah.
Truly awful.
So that's gonna be one of them. They do fine. We have the other 2 that are ballads and a little bit less of a ballad, but they're both pretty boring.
They're mostly boring. I have almost nothing to say on
it's
that.
like when like people cover ballads on these shows, I just like my mind just goes blank and I just like do not pay attention to them at all.
Other than something like what we like to call Lighthouse Ballad.
Yes.
From I believe it's Youth With You 1 or
Chwang 2019, one of those 2. But it's not a ballad.
One that
we
is.
call it Lighthouse Ballad. It's not at all a ballad.
No, it isn't. But we call it Lighthouse Ballad. That's as far as a ballad as I want to do.
So our 3 songs for the dance position battle. So one of them is 17's Fallen Flower, which is,
I have thoughts.
It's it's fine. It could be worse, I guess. Because it is a dance song, we don't have live vocals, and I think that saves it a little bit.
It does, but also, 1, the show has no budget. Falling Flower is one of those beautiful...
budget.
It's one of those beautiful things 17's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
No budget. 2, the dancing, little subpar.
Yep.
3, there's nowhere near enough people.
There's only, like, 5 or 6 people.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of that is really involves a lot of, like, fun, dynamic staging.
Right, but
doesn't work when there's 5
people. It's a lot of that you can't have.
4. I will say it's pretty decent, the people that they got to do it. No, the people they got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They were good. They did fine. I'll say it could have been a lot.
It could have been like really, really bad.
Like, I'll take what we got.
Yeah. Another one is Nissy's NA. I don't care about it really at all. This is what happens with all of the J-pop songs that get covered, is because I don't know the source song. I just like don't know what it's supposed to be, and therefore I don't care about it as much.
Yeah, I just sort of accept what it is.
Yeah.
I like, because everything else on this show has been such a pure cover.
Yeah.
I like to think that is exactly what that song sounds like.
I would like to say that all 3 of these, I guess it ends up being 4 dance songs, really.
Technically.
None of them are all that impressive for a dance position evaluation.
Oh, no. In terms of Falling Flower is not the most intense. Like, there's
Falling Flower is definitely the best one we get out of the dance.
It's more of an interpretive dance.
Yeah, but that's like, these other ones are just kind of like, we're doing a dance.
Because the other one is JO1's OEO, which, again, not that... they're going really aggressive, but at least this is a song that makes sense to go more aggressive, so like we get a pass on that. Mind you, like to point out, who made OEO, Kayla?
Yep, we got a Wii.
Yep.
And that's why it's so different than like any of JO1's other songs.
Because he realized that Pentagon could not do this.
Yes.
Nor do I think Pentagon would want to do this.
Nope.
Should they even try? No.
No, I would not like Pentagon to try to cover that song. I don't think we need that in our lives.
So then there's 2 rap songs.
They're both by the same person, Ken the 390.
Ken the 390.
Yep. So it's Overall and Nobody Else. So one of these performances, I think it's Nobody Else, has 3 of the rappers we get in I, which is Shogo, Hiroto, and Rihito, and it's like, we first saw this before, like, getting into, like, I, and it was like, I was like, Sammy, all 3 of these people make the group. None of these 3 people are that good at rapping.
Because it was very funny, because I was doing something while we were watching the show. I remember what I was doing. What the fuck was I doing?
Were you like making a clip video or something? Because I feel like that's
I might have been doing. Yeah, I was otherwise occupied, so I was only making commentary, and Kayla was giving me facts as we went. And I'm like, oh, this is the infinitely worst rap song.
It's the worst, the one with the 3 people that actually make into I, and I was like, this is the worst one.
And then she was
all 3 of them are in this group.
And then I'm like, what?
And I'm like, this is what we have to look forward to in I is these 3 bad rappers.
And I'm just like, oh great, this is what we got now. That's fun.
So that was like what first, I think what set us on is like we were like a little bit questionable about what I was gonna be. And it's like, if this is the vibe we're gonna get with like, here are these 3 people who are obviously gonna be rappers in the group and none of them are particularly that good. It's like, it's gonna be a little bit questionable. They also had a hidden song, which was essentially, they didn't reveal what position it was gonna be. It was just like, here's a hidden song, and the points are gonna be doubled if you want to decide you want to pick that as your,
which I kind of like as a concept, but also this was the most underwhelming thing possible.
It was, because it's BTS's Dynamite, and it was just a dance song, and it was really underwhelming for that to be. Because people were expecting it to be like a really hard song, too, and then it just ended up being Dynamite.
Which is not even the most difficult BTS song that came out this year. I think Butter's harder to cover than Dynamite.
Yeah, and it's like, it's even if it was like vocally or like dance-wise, it's like just pretty mediocre all around. Yeah. And so it's like, interesting choice for the hidden one, but... What was a little bit interesting is one of the kids who is, like, one of the main vocals in I picked that song and was like, I didn't expect it was going to be only dance, and so now I'm here and I don't get to sing.
Because how much better would it have been if it was, the points are doubled.
Yeah.
But you're judged on all 3.
I think what they were probably expecting, is I think they were expecting it to be more than one.
Because honestly, if I was looking at Dynamite is BTS. BTS is like, you could do dance, rap, and
Dynamite
vocal.
Maybe not the song for rap, but like,
not the song for rap, but like pick a different BTS song and then just do that. Mind you, second BTS song in this show. Why are we doing this many BTS songs?
Yes. I think they did a similar thing in Produce X for this round, where it's like one of them was a dance vocal and one of them was a dance rap. Because one of them was Turtle Ship for some reason, because that needed to be a dance
Why are we
rap.
doing Turtle Ship again?
You know, but I think that's what I think they were expecting. They were expecting more than one thing to be in that evaluation, and not so much. It turns out we just got another dance. It was gonna be dance, yeah. But I did that. It's fine. It's not horrible, but it's not good.
Meh.
It's
mostly
fine.
Forgettable, kind of.
Yeah. So we do that. We
get a ranking.
Whatever. So before we go into like so we do a weird thing for the next round, which the next round is the concept evaluation round, which is the original songs. So what they do is that, so we don't actually make an elimination between this round and the concept round, because we started off with so few people. They're just like, you all get to stay here. And so
but they do another ranking.
They do a fake out elimination. So what they do is that, I think they're all aware that none of them are going to be getting eliminated, because what they say is like, they give them all 5 of the songs and it's like, here's your 5 songs you can pick from. You can decide to practice whatever one you choose, but the groups are going to be ultimately determined by what the voters of the show want you to be in. So you have to try to pick what song you think they're gonna vote you into, or else you're gonna have to switch songs in 3 days, and then you practice 3 days for nothing.
And to be honest, I genuinely don't like that.
It's pretty stupid. It's like, because it's just, we're wasting time.
Do not know what you want. Like, I don't like that as a concept.
It's really stupid. It's kind of, they're trying to make up for the fact that what they normally do is they have them all practice, and then they eliminate a bunch of people, and they have to reshuffle the groups. And then they have to reshuffle. And so they're trying to do the same thing of reshuffle. They still want to do the reshuffle, but so they're just like, hey, just pick whatever you want, but then we're going to reshuffle you later. So, sucks to be you. And it ends up being funny because, I think, there ends up being, 15 people on one of the songs and, 3 people on one of the other songs. So a lot of them have to get reshuffled. But anyway, after they do that, they do this weird fake out ranking elimination thing where it's they really Streamline did a lot because they gave all the kids their name tags that they always wear. And they're like, if you'll notice, there's a sticker over your current ranking position. And it was like their current ranking was on the sticker. And then it was like, if you pull off the sticker, it'll show you where your new ranking is. And so they just had all the kids pull off the stickers and they have their new rankings. And so they only reveal the top 20 ranked people. And then they're like, they proceed as if they're gonna eliminate people, but then they don't at all. So it's like pretty useless. And we waste like a half hour on that. So they do that for a while.
I'm very happy you allowed me to skip this.
Yeah, it was like, I watched it because I'm like, why are we doing a ranking? Because I know they don't eliminate people, and then it was like pretty stupid, so.
Yeah.
But then after that, they reshuffled people and whatever. The kid who's ranked in first place gets to pick whatever song he wants regardless. So he picks a song that that the people didn't vote him into, and so they kick a kid out of that song into his song he was supposed to be into. And that's how they reshuffling
Which
goes.
Which is a little bit of an oof, but like it's fine.
It's a lot less drama than your initial like reshuffling.
Oh, remember season 1 with the reshuffling?
Shosei.
Remember Shosei?
He's getting kicked out of every group he tries to go to.
Poor Shosei.
Yep, yeah.
Where did he end up?
He was in Yamcha Boy Yamcha Girl, wasn't he?
Ah, he was. That was a mess.
Because he got kicked out of his original group and then didn't get chosen for every single
any of the other ones. And ended up in Yamcha Boy Yamcha Girl,
yep.
which is
just
so
a big
sad.
oof for
I'm so
him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof.
And yeah, it's because they don't really have to vote people out or anything, and it's based on what the people have voted them into. It's like, it's a lot less
But it does probably take less time.
It does.
Probably take less time.
It did take less time. Japan does a really good job of like streamlining stuff this season, which is I appreciate a lot, honestly.
Again, much like, I mean, you know, if we do what I want Japan to do, which is please shorten this title, because Produce 101 Season 2 is Produce 101 Japan Season 2 is a very long title.
It's very long. Such a long title.
Don't make me do Produce 101 Japan Season 3.
Yep.
Shorten this down. We had, like, Produce 101 China, and then they shortened it to Chuang 2020.
Yeah, let's get a shorter name here, Japan.
Shorten it. And then, just sort of, like, see if Mnet can, like, cut down these people, because we do not need 90, we don't need 100 people. Look at how well you did with just 60.
I know, this season went so well with 60 people, honestly. This was like really good with only 60 people.
I think we just gotta cut out some people next time.
I think maybe we do produce 60 next time.
It's not Produce 101, it's Produce 60.
Yeah.
Because how many girls are in Girls Planet?
99.
Never mind. Mnet hasn't learned shit. Never mind.
Yep. There's 33 from each country is how that works, yeah.
Never mind. Moving along to the songs.
Yep, so...
honestly, these were some of the most boring...
yeah, because all we have to compare them
songs?
to are from the ones from last season. The ones from last season were, like, pretty iconic. Like,
but
all of
even
them.
But even if I'm comparing them to other seasons' original songs, I feel like even bad... because remember how good some of the original songs are from Chuang 2019?
Yeah, I think this year generally, like, all three of them had pretty boring original songs.
Yeah,
I don't really remember a lot of them, to be honest.
Some of the ones from Chuang 2021 are Nana Party.
That one's fine.
The one with Mika and the girl.
Yeah.
Some of those are good.
They're fine, but yeah, in comparison
is the
to
boat
past...
one an original song?
Is which one?
The boat
No,
ballad?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I don't actually know.
We'll get there. Whale on an Isolated
That's
Island?
not, that was a cover
an
for some reason. There's a song out there already called The Whale Transformed into an Isolated Island, but you know, that's for next week.
That's fine. That's for next week.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I just feel like a lot of songs this year have just
right, because I think part of it comes
generally...
to come, like, look at we had Happy Merry Christmas last time, and that's a hard song to follow.
That's true. And you know what?
It's like, because it's also...
they're doing their best.
Because they also had Yamcha Boy Yamcha Girl, and that's like a pretty bad song. And like, Step is just that, but like less bad, so it makes it a little bit more boring.
Yeah, and I honestly find that a lot of these songs were mostly fine.
Yeah.
There was nothing truly as bad as Yamcha Boy Yamcha Girl.
Right.
But there was
nothing as good as Happy Merry
Christmas.
And even
Nor
like
do I think we'll ever have
the other
ones
were like one of them was Domino and one of them was Blackout, and those were both pretty good.
From last season.
Yeah,
this year, what we got?
We got Goosebumps. Goosebumps is fine. It ends up winning.
It's fine.
And I also
Shadow
think
is fine.
Shadow's fine. Another Day and AIM are both also fine. Like, nothing about them are, like, bad, I would say.
No.
But it just makes, because none of them are really good and none of them are really bad, it just means they're all kind of meh. Which is, like, makes it a lot less interesting. Because in a way, I'd rather one of them be really bad. So it's at least interesting.
Weirdly, I think that generally, at least that I'm thinking of, at least in this season, I can say that about so many performances. I'm just kind of meh.
Yeah.
On most of it. And, like, the thing is, I like a lot of the boys. The boys are great.
I know, but the songs were just kind of like, meh. They're here.
Could be worse.
I think there's, like, always, in this original song round, I feel like there's always one song that ends up being, like, pretty representative of, like, what the group's song is going to be. And this one is Goosebumps, and this is also, I think, the song that wins this round too.
It does.
And I think makes sense for a lot of what I is going to do musically, as I feel like that's, like, a similar, like...
Not just that, but, first place is Shogo.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
So, like, generally, I think it makes
bringing the aggressiveness into I.
He is bringing the aggressiveness,
and he alone
but also...
is bringing the aggressiveness.
Maybe that's what... Oof.
He's bringing it from Cube Entertainment, apparently.
Yeah, I'm like, Cube Entertainment... I mean, they do have, like, fucking Soyeon who's trying to be aggressive at, like, 4 foot nothing.
And, like, did he, like, pick up, like, bad habits from, like, who in Pentagon is, like, really aggressive?
Edon
and, like, Woo-sung. Yeah.
Hui losing his mind.
Having a mental breakdown. Whatever that Pentagon subunit song they did. Basquet. And no, but Cerberus. Yeah, it's like, that's the vibe.
No, not Cerberus, Kayla. kdramas.
Oh, yes. Yep.
kdramas. What the fuck?
That's the vibe.
Boys,
that's the vibe he's bringing to Japan with him.
Read. Cerberus.
Yep.
kdramas.
Yep.
But leave the Care Bears out of this.
It's really something, that song.
That song is...
It's not good.
That they
oh
can't
my god.
even say the time.
It's
worse than Obliviate.
It's really bad.
Because that's close. That's very close. That's not even
close.
Hard. Care Bears.
I have so many complaints about that song, but that's, for another day. That's not for Produce Japan Season 2.
We'll talk about that another day.
Yep. But
yeah,
original songs. Shogo is here being too aggressive always.
Oh yes.
Then we're gonna eliminate people again. We're gonna get down to 20, which is what we go into the finale with in Japan. Then we're gonna get into the actual finale. Both the finale songs, though, very good. Great finale songs.
One and Runway.
Yes.
Great.
I do think that Japan probably has some of the best finale songs generally, because the two from season 1 are also very good.
Phenomenal.
Songs. Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're really good. Like, I think they've got that down. They've got the finale songs down.
The finale songs are great.
Yes.
And then we get to the finale ballad for this year called One Day.
Yes.
Where we get
a surprise Daewee. We get a surprisingly Daewee here.
The best kind of Daewee.
The surprise Daewee. And it was so confusing because we were kind of skipping around the finale. And then I get to the start of the ballad because I was like, they're going to sing a stupid ballad, and I wonder how bad it is going to be this year.
And then you
look at the credits of the ballad, and I'm like, Lee Daewee.
Like, is that Daewee?
And I'm like, is this the same Daewee that we know?
And then we went back and we're like,
here's a video message from Daewee.
And I'm like,
Daewee.
Surprise Daewee.
Surprise Daewee has written us a song.
I will say, if you compare it to other people that have written songs, it's okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's okay,
Because It's Okay, written by Woods for Idol producer, God tier.
Great.
But this is fine.
Yes, it's fine. It is also way better than the finale ballad of season 1. It is like, we did
actually find the original finale ballad.
We did.
Because we were like, is it that bad?
It's pretty...
Turns out, yes.
It's not good. Yeah.
It's not as bad as the version from last season.
Right.
It is terrible. It is not good.
It's still not good. I would say it's still not great. I would also like to say that Daewee has written multiple songs for Produce as well. He wrote See You Again, which was on the concept battle for Produce 48. He also wrote Dream for You, which was the finale ballad of Produce X. So, like... He
just likes to write finale ballads. It's fine.
Yeah, this is a thing that he enjoys doing, apparently.
Because then also... Yeah, it's almost like the Him and Woods.
Him and Woods, they write...
Only Woods wrote these songs before he was on a
season Produce wrote a song for Edda Producer and then went on Produce X. Just
That's
doing the
life,
opposite.
I guess.
Yep. So yeah, we do that, and then we're gonna just announce the final group, which is, we're just doing that.
Remember, Kayla, we didn't watch that.
We didn't.
We skipped it because you looked up I, and we're like, oh shit, it came out an hour ago.
And then
so
we got sidetracked in the middle, and it's like, well, let's just go watch that instead, because I don't want to sit here and listen to, like, them
people
just
cry?
announce these 11 people and see them cry. Yeah, it's fine.
So, before we get to our thoughts on I generally, I think we also need to talk about the fact that we continue the tradition of this being
There's so much crying. There's so much crying. There's Produce
more
Japan,
crying, I think, in this one than in season 1.
Produce Japan, I think, has the most crying out of any Produce, like, ever. Like, there's just crying always. And I think it's both... There is generally more crying, but also I think the producers are probably making a decision to show a lot of the crying for some reason. But yes.
I don't know why.
Don't know why, but a lot of crying.
There's so much crying.
Always much crying.
Because we go from the Chinese seasons where there is so much drama.
There's a lot of drama.
No, but there is so much drama, there's so many scandals, and we are destroying people's lives.
Yes.
Lelouch never shed one tear.
Lelouch did not shed any tears, no.
These boys out here got a paper cut and he's bawling his eyes out.
Yep.
Not saying it's not difficult. It's all hard.
It's also it's so weird taking it into perspective too. Crying. Because also these are we got kids off the street for most of these people again, so it's like still I feel like Lelouch. The stakes for Japan are like, where are the stakes for a lot of these kids?
Yeah, but so was Lelouch a kid off the street.
Lelouch was a kid off the street, but that wasn't of his own free will.
Yeah, but for different
that
reasons.
Was not of his own will.
We'll get to that next week. The saga of Lelouch will be covered next week. Mm-hmm. Come back. It will be phenomenal. It's amazing.
I guess it makes sense, because we get a lot of crying from... There's a group of kids who went on Produce season 1. Produce Japan season 1 and are back again. I don't think a single one of them makes it into this group, which is unfortunate for them.
They don't.
But...
I went through the I kids. None of them.
Yeah. One of them gets close. One of them does pretty well and gets close, but he unfortunately does not make it into the group.
That's almost worse. You get close.
It's like that's how kind of like if June didn't debut into Orbit, because June was like doing pretty well and then didn't make it into JO1, but now he's in Orbit, so
Yeah, Orbit thriving.
Now he's thriving.
And Orbit back together.
Yay, we love that for them. Also,
so that was
Produce Japan the most part.
So you want to get to I?
Yeah, so let's talk about I. Because they have only 2 songs that you can listen to right now.
Here's the thing, though. We first listened... So, I just wanted to give the people the story of our journey through Rocketeer.
Yes.
So, when we first listened to Rocketeer...
Right after watching
Right after we watched
Immediately after we finished
Immediately after we did it, we watched it. We're like, oh, this is the sound that we thought of.
Yes.
Then, mind you, we'd been on this Discord call for maybe 3 hours. It took us a bit of time, but it was a while. So we left and we went for dinner separately.
Yes.
We come back.
And I was like, you know what? It's kind of really good.
And then, you listen to it a couple more. I had listened to it again. Mm-hmm. Kayla had listened to it again. We're like, oh, this is better.
It's actually pretty
good. We come back the next day.
Yes.
On, Sunday.
And then we find out Brighter has been released.
We listen to Brighter. Brighter is everything I want.
Brighter is what I need. Because it's like the JO1 sound that I need from them. Yeah.
But also, I have listened again to Rocketeer. Mm-hmm. And honestly, Rocketeer, great.
It's really good.
Amazing.
And I think what was initially so off-putting for us is because we knew they were going to be more aggressive just because of what we had seen on the season. And then so it's like we see the song and it is more aggressive, and then we get to the chorus, and the chorus is one of the choruses where we're shouting the chorus and we're not really singing, and I'm like, I don't like that. That's really kind of bad. But But it's after a couple of listens and I'm like, you know what? It's actually, like, kind of really good.
It's kind of a bop.
It's kind of great.
But, like, it's one of those shouty choruses that you can
It's a little bit melodic, too. It has, like,
there's a melody to it. And honestly, it's a bop.
It's good. I enjoy them. I
enjoy it actually a lot.
They're not debuting officially until November 3rd. But we do have we do have 2 songs for them already, so. They did also perform at K-Contact 5. And they performed, like, 6 songs at K-Contact 5.
Which, again, where are they getting these songs?
So one of them was the Pick Me, Let Me Fly. 2 of them were Brighter and Rocketeer. 2 of them were the finale songs. And then one of them, I think, was off of another one off their album. So they got exciting. One extra performance in there that we haven't seen yet, but a lot of them were just from Produce, yeah.
That's fun. I will say, overall, what I think of I&I. Are they JO1? No.
They aren't JO1.
Will I be buying box sets of their albums?
That's yet to be seen.
Kayla and I are trying.
We're in a weird place, so we're really trying to not get into buying box sets of albums.
Kayla and I now have decided on this very weird pact.
Yes.
Where we're like, look, we can't.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever breaks first, that gives the other person the option to do it
because
too.
I really don't want to buy more Japanese jewel cases because they're kind of not worth the money that I pay for them with the import fees and everything. But also, like,
I don't need $90 box sets with random Japanese boys' faces on.
But also, I feel like I'm going down a path where, like, you know, it could happen. Because I came out of this season knowing about as many members of JO1 as I did coming out of Produce Japan Season 1. So I'm like, well, we might end up there.
Weirdly, Kayla, just this conversation has helped me to learn like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, the hardest part of this is their names.
Their names are very Japanese.
And they're also very similar.
And a couple of them are very similar, yeah.
Because the unfortunate thing with JO1 was that you had, like, Shosei and Shion and Shoya and Shoya and Sky and you're like, that's a lot of S's.
It's a lot.
But half of them I already knew beforehand.
Right.
Them, unfortunately, there's no one I've sort of latched onto.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the most recognizable one to me is probably Haruto.
Yeah.
He's got a very distinctive face.
He does. I think 5 of them for sure. Like, I can pick them out, like, pretty easily, which is Masaya, I can do Shogo, I can do Kyosuke, who is fake Gong Sung-woo, and I can do Jin Matsuda, and I can do Hiroto. And then I can kind of do Fang Fan, and I can kind of do Takumi, but the 2 of them, I interchange with each other, so it's like...
See, my bigger issue is that I know all of them as different people,
but
I do not know names. The names are hard.
Also, I would like to say, generally, the kid who comes in second place, Hiromu, is so confusing to me because I feel like he's invisible for most of this season. Like, I feel like I see significantly less of him than I do a lot of other people. And somehow he significantly less of him than other people who didn't even make the group. And he comes in second place.
Yes.
And that was, like, I think one of the most confusing things for a lot of people was I remember... Because I was sort of, like, casually following, like, what was happening with Produce Japan as it was airing. I followed it a little bit at the beginning when they were doing all that bullshit of, like, we're eliminating 40, 60 or something, whatever people initially. And then I just looked up on the finale, like, who was in the group. Not that I knew any of them, but I saw a lot of people going, like, this group is really confusing. Like, a lot of people who are in there, like, the rankings don't make a lot of sense at all.
True. And it's not that the rankings don't make sense in the way that, like, Produce doesn't make sense, wherein people randomly jump up and down in the obvious manipulation that Produce Korea used to do.
All of these kids were always in the top.
These kids are consistent.
Yeah.
It's just confusing who is putting them there.
Yes.
How is this kid in second place?
Because, like, all of the kids who are in, like, I say the top 20-ish were all bouncing in and out of the top 11, like, for essentially most of the show. So, like, I don't find any of them confusing to be there, but I am confused as to some of them, how they ended up there. Because I know Hiromu, who's in second place, he did win first place a handful of times, and I'm, like, always like, but where have you been? Like, I feel like I don't see you anywhere.
I feel like, it's weird since I feel like Shogo should have been, because he's ranked third.
He's third. He should have.
I feel like it is a much better. It's a much better rival, which is what makes me
that
think the show was
the
actually
actual,
not.
Because that was the actual rivalry of the show. It was him and Masaya a lot of the time because they were first and second a lot. That was an actual rivalry they had.
But for some reason, Hiromu would just come in.
He just sneaks in
like,
the back and he's like, "Hi, I'm
like,
here now."
Why?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Not what are you like? You're fine. You're great. Love you.
Like, he's
but
just like,
what
I'm
are
gonna
you
break
doing
up
here?
the rivalry a little bit now.
Yeah,
like,
I am
I'm
in the
here.
middle of this. It's
I've
not
arrived.
true rivalry.
Yeah. Cause like,
I know like a few of them.
Yeah.
Like the ones I can definitely like. Shogo I recognize.
yeah, he's also got
definitely.
he's like really big ears, which makes him really recognizable too.
Hiroto I recognize. Masaya I recognize.
Mm-hmm.
A few of the other ones, like, I can put the name of, I know fake Ong Sung-woo.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Kyosuke, I oftentimes forget his name.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it is, like, just we're under, like, roots of Ong Sung-woo for him.
Then at some point, I also many times forget Issei's real name.
I know, because I was,
fake Ong Sung-woo so often.
Before we recorded, I was like, what's his actual name? And I'm like, I don't know his actual name.
We forget it so often. We will just have conversations about JO1 and refer to everyone else by name.
And then fake Ong Sung-woo.
And fake Ong Sung-woo.
I think part of that comes from the anger that he won over Ren, and so I'm choosing to not remember his real name because I'm still angry about it, but you know.
Mine is also I have a shit memory for names. So like anything that makes it easier for me to remember, like Jin, fabulous. Three letters, I already know Jin.
Yes.
I already have Jins in my mind. Bam.
But I think they are.
So,
I think they're good. I think they have potential to be really good too. And I also think that they're in the same company as JO1, obviously. And I think that company now has a good idea of like how to
honestly,
structure the group.
It's very good that they are very different from JO1.
Yes. Yes.
We have different vibes. We have different things. They're sort of similar with like the B-sides, like brighter.
Right.
But title track wise, I think we're good.
I think we're pretty good title track wise, yeah. They definitely aren't overlapping for like title track vibes at all.
Oh yeah.
And I do think it is gonna stay where I is probably gonna be a little bit more on the aggressive side. But I think that's good for them, and I think that definitely fits them more than it would fit, you know, JO1 or something. So it's good for them. I also would like to point out that the age range of both of these groups is like almost identical.
True.
Because I think the youngest member of I is the same age as fake Ong Sung-woo.
Yes.
So they are the same age.
I looked it up because when I looked up how fake Ong Sung-woo and fake Ong Sung-woo relate, so it is 2002.
Yep.
I do not know how old Show is.
Show is 2 years older than the oldest member of I.
Messiah, yeah.
So, but they're almost like the same. But
it's
age.
it is basically an identical range because Show is a little bit older than everybody.
Yes. Because Ren is the next oldest person in JO1, and he's the same age as his best friend. So
we love friendship.
I also think that's really fun now, knowing that the two of them are like friends and now are essentially like centers of like these different groups in the same company. Like that's real cute.
Yay! I'm happy for them.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that for them. I think that's really fun. But I also like the age range for Japan is 15 to 27, which is like I think is a weird range. It's a weird range, but I think they lowered it from season 1 because I think it was like 30 something in Japan season 1.
That would have been weird.
Yeah, because it was like I think they just went for the they like took the average age of like people who are currently promoting as J-pop, and it ended up that higher end ended up being like 30 or something, and so I think they was 16 to 30, so they lowered it for season 2. They did 15 to 27. Yeah, again
27 still weird
to be in a group with a 15-year-old if you're 27 years old, but
true, but could be worse. Could be 30.
Yep.
So that was the
Japan.
That's produce. Oh, first season down. Two more to go.
2 more seasons to go, both in China.
And also, stories to tell.
We're gonna get more dramatic as we go.
I mean, a little bit less to say. Oh no, next season we'll have so much to say about the people.
We're gonna have a lot to say. We're gonna have I think we're gonna have increasing a lot to say about people, and then nothing to say about people.
True. There will be like increasingly more to say about people than two people.
Only two people. Yes.
Than two people.
Than only two people. A lot of the Youth With You coverage is not going to be about the actual season. As a spoiler
it's
alert.
what happened everywhere.
It's literally the repercussions that season has had on the entire industry is what that.
But also a
really
lot
is.
to say about the judges of that season.
Yep.
A lot to say about the judges of both of those seasons. This will be exciting.
It's fun. I'm excited.
Our next episode might be like 3 hours long.
I know the Chuang one is gonna be long. That's gonna be a long episode.
The Chuang one is gonna be long because honestly,
there's a lot to say about
Here's the thing. Before I spoil anything about it, Chuang 2021 is in my top 5 definite, maybe top 3 favorite seasons of this show. Mm-hmm. Genuinely one of my favorite seasons of this show because it is wild, it is fabulous,
yes.
It has so much of my favorite people. Genuinely, I recommend. It is long as fuck.
It's so long.
But
it's literally that and Youth With You are like so long, like just.
But do I recommend it? Yes, it is in my top 5, and we've seen all 14 seasons.
It is one of the most entertaining seasons this show has ever had.
I was so entertained by everything that happened. You don't think it can get wilder. You don't think it can get funnier.
But it did.
God. I'm just remembering moments. Kayla, remember the fucking swans?
Oh my god, the swans.
Remember the fucking swans?
Yeah. Also, Chuang also has like a side variety show to go along with this season. Which I might
end up watching because it looks
multiple
funny.
hours that the show are the 4 hours of content you got every episode wasn't enough. It has a side variety show.
Yeah, you also get much like you would a Run BTS style show.
Yes.
Like you just get them playing fun.
You get
games.
a different 12 people on it every episode.
Yep, and honestly, you just get some of my favorite people.
Yes.
If any of you are BL fans, familiar faces will be seen.
A lot of white men in the next season. So many white men.
We do get to talk about a lot of white men, but so phenomenal, amazing.
It's great.
If to the one person that's made it this far, watch it.
Watch it.
We got
a week to watch it before we come out with it.
You will not regret it.
It's so fun.
Genuinely. It's one of my favorite seasons.
It's great.
I think at the end of Youth With You, we do have to do another ranking of the seasons.
We probably do, yeah.
Because I do think that the rankings have changed. But
yeah.
You don't think you get a top 5 season, 14 seasons in, and yet here we are with a phenomenal.
It's great.
Oh,
fantastic. It's great. But anyway, that has been Produced Japan Season 2. If you're listening to us on YouTube, we are also available on all major podcasting platforms. And if you're listening to us there, go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Slappin Kpop Podcast, where we post all of our episodes along with extra fun clip videos. We will have 2 extra clip videos that are going to be produced themed this month. One of them is the best and worst performances from these 3 seasons of the show. And one of them is a re-ranking of our top 50 trainees, because we got a lot of new additions to that this year.
Well, the list has changed.
It's very different than the ranking we did back in original Produce Month. So there will be many updates to that.
Yes.
Yes. We are also on Instagram and Twitter, and our accounts for that are linked in the description of every episode. And with that, we will see you again next week for more Produce Month with Chuang 2021. And that'll be very fun and very long, probably. So, you got a week to watch it if you want to have the experience.
Informed
along with
opinions.
Us. Yes. Bye.
Bye.